going on, gang? It's good to be back, baby. Let's go. My name is Savilian. Man, you're tuning into the Sav Show. And, man, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Good to be back. Good to be back. I wish I could do a little skedadding right then and there. So anyway, been a minute today on the Sav Show. I'm going to take you for a trip down memory lane. Not too long ago, okay? We're only talking about a couple months now, but I'm going to take you for a trip down memory lane. Now, I'm officially back in Melbourne. I know I mentioned that on my last podcast, but I was things were a little dicey on the most recent episode. I was basically, look, let's get into it. So a couple months back, I moved back from the Central Coast, job done, back in Melbourne. And I was expecting things to go a little smoother than they did. Okay. So basically, I moved back down with the intention of just working at my previous cafe job whilst I kind of got my shit together, right? Now, I had about 4 weeks to find a place to live because I was staying with my cousins. I was staying at my cousin's place. I was house sitting, looking after his greyhounds while he was away in Europe. Now, I had about 4 weeks to kind of work at the cafe, kind of save up some money, find somewhere to live. Now, after 1 week of being back at the cafe, I got news that the cafe was shutting down. Job done. No notice at all. Now, I then went madly on a job hunt to find anything, basically anything. I was like handing out resumes left, right, and center. I was going to heaps of job interviews. I was chatting to people, reaching out, fucking maybe 100 odd Seek applications, and just really ready to take whatever would come my way because I knew I just wanted to. As soon as I had some income, I would have been sweet. So that probably lasted maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, and then basically it got towards the end of that 4-week little period there. My cousin comes back, and now I've got to go find somewhere with no kind of income and no real money in the bank. So I head out and I look and I go to inspections and I chat to people and I weigh up some options. And the best one that I could find was how do I say it? It was pretty much a crack den, right? It was like a junky halfway house, kind of like, some people are students, some people are like I don't know. It's a weird vibe. Let's just put it that way. If you've ever been on Victoria Street in Richmond and a very particular part of Victoria Street, that's where it was. Okay, right near the the injecting kind of place there, and right near the Hive. It's a if you've ever been on that part of Victoria Street, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is a wild time. It looks like a goddamn war zone in there sometimes. Like all love and respect to the people that I find. I love it. This is my favorite part of the whole world right here. But it is it's eye opening. Let's put it that way. So anyway, I find a place, and that place that I found is there. Okay, in that very specific part of the world, and I'm basically living with a few interesting characters. Let's put it that way. Now, thankfully, it was available. It was a roof. I didn't need a lot of money to kind of get set up. There was already some furniture in the place. I just took it, right? I had to take it. Now, I start getting desperate for work, okay? Things are on the slide real quick. I pretty much run out of my savings at this point. My next lot of rent is coming up pretty like within a week or two because I was able to pay 2 weeks up front. But then, that 2 weeks is pretty much about to evaporate. I got no money to pay that next lot of rent. I start getting desperate. So I take a job interview. I rock up to the job interview on a Monday morning after, I had the previous week a bit of a fucking anxiety, kind of panic attack kind of thing because I'm like, God, I got no money, I got no income, I got nowhere really stable to live. Like, this is not This is not the homecoming that I was anticipating for the King of Richmond, the People's Champ. But I was doing what I had to do. I was trudging forward. Anyway, now I got so desperate that I essentially took this interview in a position that was essentially sales, telesales. I get to the interview after a fairly loose weekend, probably a little bit of survival mode kind of thrown in there. And then I basically get to this interview and I'm halfway through the interview and, things are going good. And the guy goes, so how do you feel about the job being commission only? And I just felt this, this feeling in my stomach. I just felt sick. I was like, what? How did I miss that? Turns out that it was a commission-only sales job. Now, this job might end up being one of the weirdest fucking jobs on the face of the planet. I'll explain that in a moment. Now, I end up just kind of like collecting myself and then going, yeah, no problem. I'm looking forward to the challenge. Just put on a brave face and just take it and just see what the fuck happens. So I just go, yeah, let's do it. Not having no idea what to expect, but at that point, it's desperation. If I can get any money from this job, it's better than nothing. Okay, I literally have nothing right now. I have no leads. I got rent coming up. I got no money to pay it with. It's getting kind of desperate. So I just go, all right, fuck it, let's do it. We finish the interview. It goes well. He calls me up later that day. He's like, do you want to start tomorrow? Yep, of course. I go in and I just basically go, I say to myself, look, Matt, you have no money. You have no money coming in. All you have is your confidence, resilience, willpower. That's all. Okay, a little stoicism thrown in the mix. But you don't have a lot. Okay, so I basically showed up and I thought, do you know what? I need to just focus on the process. Okay, the process is getting better, doing the thing, showing up, being as good as I can for as long as I can, and just hoping that I get good results. Now, I got in there, and my goal was to just absorb, take in as much information as I could. Now, luckily, this particular role came with some very good training. My manager, very, very, very good at what he did and does. That I was full of the team was full of people who are very, very good salespeople. Now, the role I'm going to articulate to you as best I can right now. It is the weirdest job known to man. Okay. Now, I was cold call every morning. I would get a batch of leads. I would cold call businesses or what I perceived were businesses. Okay. I would get on the phone to them and then I would ask them if they wanted to buy ad space in a magazine that went to the volunteers, okay, the SES volunteers. Now, this ad space was presented as support and advertising for your business, support for the volunteers, advertising for your business. Now, it's really just support, okay? I'm essentially trying to appeal to people who have a bit of spare cash and might be wanting to support the volunteers. Okay. Now my job was to call 300 businesses or business owners every single day and spiel them and pitch this product, this advertising space, because essentially the business was a publishing company and I'm trying to sell advertising space in this magazine. Now, it was bloody tough, okay? I would get on the phone. Obviously, they got no idea who I am. They got, maybe they don't care about the volunteers. Maybe they do. Maybe they never heard of them. And it was just my job to spiel them and talk to them like they were a friend and like I knew that they wanted to support the volunteers, even if they didn't think about it until that moment in time, right? My job was to make them buy that advertising space. And do you know what? I was okay at it. I wasn't too bad. We got to keep pretty much 30% of whatever we sold. So it's like literally you get to eat what you catch. You get to eat what you catch and kill. And because I had no money coming in, no money in the bank, every single day I got on the phones, I had to sell like my life literally depended on it. Now, I'm being a bit hyperbolic because at the end of the day, I live in Australia, greatest country in the world. I got freedom, I got family, I got, I'm never going to actually, I never say never, but like I'm very privileged and very blessed to live in this country. So it was probably never going to be like that bad, but it felt pretty bad. I was pretty stressed. And then I had to get on the phone and act like I wasn't. I had to get on the phone and act like a professional. I had to get on the phone and act like I knew what I was doing and knew what I was selling. So for that reason, I had to get good really quick. I had to learn the spiel. I had to learn to objection handle. I had to learn the products. I had to act like an expert. Okay. And I did that okay. I did that to the point where I was able to get like, 1, maybe 2 sales a day. And did I mention that the smallest ad that I was selling was $440? Okay. $440 for a business card size ad in a magazine that no one would ever read. It was essentially support, okay? And look, this company's been around for 26 years, countrywide offshore, you can go look them up. They are a legitimate business that have a legitimate business model. They have a lot of very successful people within the business, and they do good work for the communities that they support. But it's just such a far-fetched concept, right? If you've never done sales, if you've never heard of them, if you don't even know who the fucking volunteers are, and you walk into there, you would think that this is a scam. It's like so bizarre that this even exists. But it doesn't just exist, it exists very successfully. This is a very successful business. And the people that I was working with were very good at their job. Like literally guys were pulling in $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a week in sales from cold calling and selling this product to businesses. So look, strange as fuck. Very crazy kind of set of circumstances. But I got in there and I ended up making probably $600 or $700 a week in my pocket that was getting paid into my bank account every Friday, okay? Whatever I sold that week got paid into my bank account that Friday. And you know what? It was okay. It was fine, and I feel like if I had stayed there for longer, I would have earned more and more money and I would have got actually quite good at the job. Now, about 3 weeks, well, not 3 weeks into it, but like in the first couple of weeks, because I think in the back of my head, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I am literally calling people that have never heard about this product and trying to get them to buy it. Like, I don't know if I can do this and with no guarantee that I'm actually going to make enough money to pay my rent. I don't know if I can actually handle doing that for a long period of time. So I still had in the back of my mind the option to find another job, something a bit more secure with a base wage or an hourly wage or something like that. In the back of my mind, that I was still kind of thinking like that. So I still kept my fingers in a few pies. I still kept looking. I still kept handing out resumes. Still kept having conversations, all while showing up to this job and just trying my best to make it work. Now, one of the leads that I tapped in this period was a friend from the gym. He had some connections. He said to me, yeah, I can reach out to these people. Like I explained to my situation. He said, I'll reach out to these people. Now, in my mind, I think it's a very human thing for us to want to appear to be good people. So whenever someone feels, acts like they're distressed or they need help, it's a very human Aussie thing to go, yeah, mate, yeah, I'll help you out. Of course. Yeah, of course. And then sometimes, you don't always get the follow through. You don't always get the action that follows the words, okay? Those two things don't always add up. And when he said, I'm going to help you, I didn't have time or energy to really invest in that idea too much. I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever, man, whatever. Nothing to do with him. It's just like when you're in that fight or flight state, it's just hard to really invest in things too much when I had so little mental capacity on a day-to-day basis. So I guess I just didn't have too much hope that anything would come from it. But sure enough, this guy surprised the hell out of me. He followed the lead up. He made multiple efforts, and eventually I was given an opportunity. I was given an opportunity to come and interview. Now, I went to the interview and I had already been at this other commission-only job for like 2 or 3 weeks. So I'd been making, 300 calls a day. I'd been doing, I'd been doing like 3 hours of talk time every single day. I'd been, objection handling the shit out of people and making them buy ad space that they had zero intention of buying. I'd got some very good reps in a business model that, taught me some very valuable skills in a very short amount of time because the training was actually really good. Now, when I went in for the interview, it was going for a job in private health insurance, okay? Sales. Now, I had never worked in private health insurance before. Before 3 weeks ago, I had never worked in sales. I had never worked on a phone before. I'd only ever really done like events and hospitality and stuff like that. So this was all very new to me. But I walked into that interview and I just acted like an expert. I acted confident. No, I was confident. I was confident. I was an expert. And I presented well. I presented well enough that, the very next day I got a call and I was offered a job. And man, that call was everything. Like I felt like after the interview, I felt like I had it, but I wasn't gonna let myself get my hopes up too much. Now, when I got that call, I felt so relieved and just grateful for, the fact that I had been resilient, the fact that I had gone and taken this commission-only sales role that kind of gave me the necessary kind of like, expertise to be able to talk the lingo of being a telesales, agent or whatever, and understanding objection handling and all that. Grateful for my friend who made the effort. Grateful that he saw enough value in me in the way that I presented myself to actually vouch for me. There was a whole lot of gratitude and there was a whole lot of, relief in that moment. So, but that was only the beginning, I knew that I still had to rock up. I knew that I still had to show up every single day and learn and actually, take this new role head on. And that's what I did. And that's what I've done for the last couple of months. And now we fast forward probably 6 weeks, 8 weeks later with that same tenacity that I was able to get this role in private health insurance. I now have this. I mean, you can't see it right now, but this is, I'm in my own apartment right now. I live by myself. I have an apartment on Victoria Street in Abbotsford, which is my favorite part of the world. The office that I work at is 200 meters away. The gym that I train at is 200 meters away. Like the Yarra River is right there. I've essentially gone from, maybe like 8 weeks ago, or maybe like 10 weeks ago now, not having any idea what my future was going to look like, to now being so happy, set, confident, ready to fucking rock and roll. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Shit's been a goddamn whirlwind, that's for sure. And so, this whole story is, not to, the moral of this for me has been this particular Marcus Aurelius quote, which I found. So I ended up writing a newsletter to my list about this whole kind of 2-week scenario. And I'm going to read a little bit of it now, starting with this quote from Marcus Aurelius. And it goes like this: "If you set yourself to your present task along the path of true reason, self-content with each present action taken in accordance with nature, and a heroic truthfulness in all that you say and mean, then you will lead a good life and nobody is able to stop you." Okay? And that's kind of how I felt. I set myself to a task of sorting my shit out, right? Of getting, to the other side. And, sheer serendipity and sheer willpower and force, I've made it happen. Like right now, this, I am living my ideal life. I get to wake up. I now get to go to a job that I love and adore, with people that I enjoy working with. I get to sell a product that I genuinely believe in. I get to train. I get to use a sauna at my apartment building every single day. I now have the mental capacity to sit here and communicate with you guys and make a podcast and start creating things again. I have this beautiful space where I feel so much peace and gratitude every single day just to exist here. Things are fucking good, man. Anyway, so to wrap all this up, I'm gonna read the last little section of this newsletter that I sent out to my list. If you guys want to get this, I've started sending this out every Sunday. Essentially, the motto for this newsletter is, ideas or thoughts for a modern Stoic. Because I feel like I could not have made it through the last couple of months without Stoicism. Without reliance on the process, without reliance on willpower to just show up and do the work day in and day out, regardless of the external kind of shit show that was happening. And I think it's I guess I've proven to myself that Stoicism and having a framework that is unflappable can be such a great tool when you're trying to just show up and be the best version of yourself. So anyway, I'm going to read this here, and then I'm probably going to sign it off because I just really wanted to get a podcast out. This is my first podcast in 3 or 4 months. I've been a bit nervous about jumping back on the horse because it's I don't know, just nervous. Honestly, just nervous. The same kind of nerves that I experienced when I first started podcasting, I feel have been here today, or at least for the last couple of months. And now that I'm about to get this out of the way, it feels good. Feels very good. So let me read this out here, then I'll wrap it up. Like Marcus said up the top there, if you set yourself to your present task, self-content with each present action, then you will lead a good life. And that's the thing, I'm not rich yet. I still got heaps of debt. I still, my body hurts a little bit. Things aren't perfect for sure. But I feel like I feel like I'm living a good life because I enjoy my life. I wake up and I'm I enjoy things. I enjoy just existing. I enjoy my own time. I enjoy my own mind. I enjoy my own space. I don't need anything. I literally don't need anything. I just need me. And I need to just, be happy being me. There's a real genuine enjoyment for existing. And I can't put that down. And I'm not going to put that down. And I can't fucking shy away from it. And I don't know, maybe it's mental illness, but either way, I digress. I knew I was heading in the right direction. It is hard to remember that when you're in the storm. But if you can keep your head down and concentrate on small steps, eventually you will find clear skies. My confidence was shaken at times, but my self-worth and gratitude remained, and it still does. As I write this from my courtyard in my apartment before I head to my ideal job in my ideal location, I remind myself of the grind it took to get here. Content with each moment, but extremely grateful to be here. The task does not change though, remaining self-content with the work at hand for the work's sake, nothing more or less. This is the good life. If my focus remains here, I know I will be unstoppable. Now go, friend. Focus on your present task. Anyway, guys, that's it for the Sav Show. Bit of a storytelling time today. I haven't done too much story time recently, so I thought I'd go back to some story time. But man, I feel very full of gratitude to be here. Full of gratitude that you guys are tuned in and want to give me your time and your attention and energy. And I appreciate that a lot. If you guys want to jump on to my weekly newsletter, I'm sending them out every week, talking about myself, my explorations, my thoughts, and basically what it means to be a modern day Stoic in the way that I define it, I guess. You can do that below, jump on, grab a link, hit the link and subscribe. But yeah, anyway, thank you for tuning in. My name is Savilian. I will definitely catch you next week on the motherfucking Sav Show. Man, I got heaps more shit to talk about. I even talked about the Whoop, new glasses, the hair, fresh as fuck, new music, shooting that next week. I got a lot of things that I really want to share, but I just had to get this first one out off my chest, back on the horse. We here 2025, we winning, baby. We ain't like winning like crazy, like, oh, I'm gonna take over the world winning. We just showing up and doing the work that's required to feel good about ourselves. And that is winning. I'm happy with that, you know. Anyway, catch you next week on the Sav Show. Let's go.